So I'm having a chat with Jordan Harvey. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you very much. How are you on this fine Friday morning?
Yeah, a little chilly, but we're all good now that we're gearing into winter slowly.
I know, mate. It's so cold outside. Like, I was in Scotland last week, and I'm not going to lie. Usually, I like to come down south to London and that because it's a bit warmer. But what's happening? You're colder than Scotland, mate.
It's not good. We don't like it. But some good news is that you have a debut EP on the way called It Is What It Is. Tell us a little bit about the release.
Absolutely, mate. So the release comes out on January 20th of next year, and this is just a record that is unapologetically, authentically myself, and I'm extremely proud of this record. I co-wrote this record with my friends. I co-produced this record with my friends, and this record is just everything I could ever wish it could be.
Good. And we've been supporting one of your singles called I Will. Tell us a little bit about that single.
Well, firstly, thank you very much for supporting it, mate. I truly appreciate it. And secondly, yeah, that song came about. I wrote that song in my mum and dad's house back in the pandemic in 2020. And I was on Zoom with my friend the night before, and we'd had a couple of whiskeys, should I say, and we were just talking nonsense. And we got into the topic of love life, and he said that he was kind of talking to this girl right before the world shut down and met her in a bar and asked what her story was, and she said, I'm kind of seeing this guy, but I think I'm going to get out of it because, he's not treating me very well. And he said, well, if he won't treat you right, I will. And I was like, dang, son, you've just given me absolute, inspiration for a song. So I actually wrote the song after that conversation with my mate on the phone.
Good. And does the sound and the style of the single that we've been playing kind of lead into the EP, or is each track on the release a little bit different?
Absolutely, man. Like, I feel like that I Will is such a good kind of indication of what the record's going to sound like. There's definitely a little bit. I want to just have a record with a little bit of everything in it. Like the first track on the EP is I Will. The second track's a song called Along for the Ride, which is one of these songs that I miss the kind of. I'm a huge Keith Urban fan, and I'm a fan of all his work, but I miss old Keith in the sense of when he used to have real banjo-driven music, and it was right out front, kind of like Somebody Like You and all that. So I wanted a song that kind of had that drive and energy to it. So I've included that on the record. I have a song called Overnight, which is probably the most unique song in terms of sonically on the record. And then Alabama Girl, which I'm sure you've probably heard. And then finally a song called Thing About Change, which I wrote about the day I'd met my girlfriend and how she just kind of has changed my life for the better. And I was such a big fan of a song called Prayed For You by Matt Still many years ago. And a lot of the songs I co-write with my friend Andy Albert, who is a prolific, really well-acknowledged songwriter in Nashville. And I called a friend of mine, Alison Veltz, who was one of the co-writers on Prayed For You, and said, listen, I have this plan and this idea for a song, and there's no one better that want to write the song with you than you and Andy. So that song's coming out, and I just kind of wanted to have like Prayed For You Mark II in terms of like sonically, but it kind of took its own shape and was actually produced by my nearest and dearest friend and one half of C4 of Tom Jordan.
Good. And obviously this is your debut EP. So what was it that made you want to kind of write and record music and release it to the world?
I feel like this is what I was born to do, man. Like, I don't know how to do anything else. Like, I'm half decent at kicking a football, not the American one, like the actual one that should be called football. But other than that, I just feel like I have stories to tell, and I feel like even at my age, I've lived a lot of life, and I feel like I wanted to write a record that people could relate to and see themselves in. And I feel like I'd be doing myself and the hopefully potential fans an injustice if I didn't put this record out.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, I'm sure that you've written a lot more than what is being released on this EP. What else is there to come from you?
Absolutely. I mean, I've probably written about 3 albums. The label, I mean, it was really great. I absolutely adore my label, man. Like BMG Global and Broken Bow Records in Nashville. This is where Broken Bow, in my opinion, is just such a great label for countless reasons. But the president and CEO of the label over in the States, John Loba, it was summer 2021, and I knock on his door, and I'm itching to put music out. And I was like, John, I'm ready to go. And he pulled me to the side and he said, listen, I've been hearing from BMG Publishing that you're writing a lot of amazing songs. Like, every song you're turning in is really great. And I was like, yeah, cool. Like, thanks, man. Like, appreciate it. But like, music, come on, let's go. Let's put it out. And he's like, I am not putting music on you till next year. He said, because I am not stopping your creative flow. And I was like, what? Like, dude, like, come on. But I could not be more grateful for him doing that, because there is such a thing as, like, when you're on and you're like in a heat of writing and you're writing great songs. Like, I felt like for maybe a year, I've pulled together, I would say, you know, a bunch of singles across a bunch of records now for me. And I think that if it wasn't for John saying to me, listen, man, like, keep going, we're not, you know, we'll have time to put music out, I don't know if I would have had the in-depth amount of songs that I have. So I have a ton of songs that I'm so excited to put out, and so excited to come down the line. But right now, my main focus is the EP. But yeah, we are stacked right now, which is great. It's an exciting place to be in.
Yeah, I can imagine. And with all these other kind of tracks that you've written, have you tried other things just to see if they work? And when you're in kind of writing tracks, have you tried things to see if they work? And is there anything that kind of hasn't worked for you?
Do you know what? Yeah, man, like, absolutely. I think that my writing process is kind of stayed the same in terms of, you know, melody first and then lyrics after. But yeah, I've written a lot of music for. I built up like a portfolio that I'm really looking to do some stuff with next year, which is I've written a lot of music for TV and film, which is very bizarre. But I felt like you have to, because a lot of my writing is so personal, it takes a lot out of you. And when I do that for maybe 3 months hardcore, and then I maybe take a month off and I'm like, look, I'm just going to write random jingles and tunes and all this sort of stuff that make absolutely no sense for TV and film and online syncing stuff and computer games and all that sort of stuff, because I always feel like I have to continuously be creative. And I'm very lucky that I have a lot of friends that are heavy in the sync world in America. So I sometimes just take a month off and write songs that if you listen to, you'd be like, wait, this is the same guy that wrote I Will? Like, this makes no sense. But it's a really great avenue for me to still be creative and explore. So, you know, I get to put bagpipes in a song and flute and stuff like that, which doesn't really work in a country song. So yeah. I just love to write music, man. Music is my life, and, you know, hopefully forever will be.
Good. And I'm sure you'll be wanting to be playing out on the road at some point. What's the plan for touring?
Yeah, man, like, you know, I definitely plan next year to get out as much as I possibly can. Like, that's the dream, you know. Get out there, play to everyone, play to people. Next year's a big building year for me. The next couple of years are big building years. I mean, I've only had, you know, songs out in the world for a couple of months now, and it takes a little while. So it's promotion. Radio single next year over here in the States. I say that as I'm in a hotel room in London, but I mean, when I get back to America, over in the States, and hopefully a radio single here in the UK. And I said to my team, I was like, look, Q1 and Q2, I'd love to be in America and stuff like that. But if I can get the opportunity to come over to the UK and Europe and tour Q3, Q4, like, I would love nothing more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jordan, it's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much.